Jack of all, master of none.
Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Today I'm going to be showing you a really quick, easy drywall finish technique. We're essentially going to be matching this, what you can see right here. Don't really know. It's kind of a little bit of a mix of a knockdown along with a stone, maybe a little bit of travertine, kind of stucco blend. Very pleasant looking and also very easy to do. So I'm going to show you guys a little hack to do this without spraying, without using a compressor, without using a hopper gun. And let's get rolling. So all we're going to need for this one is we're going to need some joint compound. I'm going to use an 18-inch handled drywall knife. There may be a different name for that, forgive me. We have our drywall tray, just to have some mud handy, a taping knife, and a 6-inch joint knife. That's it. Another reason this texturing technique is so effective and easy is that you can be a little bit more resourceful with your drywall. You don't always have to cut specifically to have two tapered ends coming together for those nice flush flat joints. You can actually just butt up the thick ends where you have a little bit of a bulge when you mud over. That way you don't have to be so precise with doing your joints, right? You can kind of just cake it on and spread it out and just cover that mesh, the fiberglass mesh underneath, and leave a little bit of troweled on texture, because when we come and scrape that 18-inch drywall knife with our texturing technique, you can blend those out really easily and really quickly. So all I'm going to do is have a little bit of mud in my tray. And I'm going to use my 18-inch rusted, just kidding, it doesn't have to be rusted, drywall knife. And using the taping knife, I'm just going to so all I'm going to do is spread out a little bit of drywall onto the 18-inch knife. We're not going to cake it on, but we're also not going to put too little. We're going to put just kind of a medium amount, if that makes sense. And it doesn't even have to be smooth. Actually, you don't want it to be smooth. You want it to be kind of rough and globby like this. And then we're just going to start at the bottom of our joint and very lightly, very flat, push it up against the wall and just drag it down. That's it. So we're going to keep doing that, and there's so many different variations that you'll find in doing this. You turn it to the side and start scraping it. You can do it at a 45-degree angle. And you have so much room for variation and creativity in this. And so if you have areas where you have a little too much built up, you can just turn the knife maybe 45 degrees so you catch a little bit more of that edge. And then you can scrape some of that down without losing these little trough areas. And then you can spread this out a little bit more. And you can also get a little bit more dimension. So now effectively we can have maybe 3 different layers. The original drywall, the first layer that you spread kind of thin, and then you'll have even a 3rd layer on top of that layer. And this is really a nice look. And like I said, it really works well to even out those bulgy joints where you don't use the tapered edges. And look how quick that was. Now, if you have a lot of square footage to cover, you can also switch to that 6-inch joint knife, and that makes things a little bit quicker. See, I could just apply that a little faster than using that taping knife, and just keep moving up. with that texture. Now look how cool that looks. And you don't quite get the full effect until it's all dried, until it's painted. But I will take you on a little tour of some of the previous areas that I've already done and show you what it looks like dried. And you guys did already see kind of what it looks like painted after you sand it down a little bit, which I will show you how to do. Now we're going to do a little spot sand just to show you guys an example of how to finish your new texture on your wall. You're definitely going to need a respirator. Make sure it is rated for dust, because at least the drywall mud that we're using has silica in it. So when that becomes aerosolized, that's not good to breathe in. Long-term exposure is going to cause silicosis and other lung problems. Definitely want to avoid that. And then, since we have so much texture to our texture, we have a lot of bumps, we're going to use something that has a medium grit. We're not going to get one of those fine grit sponges, although it's good to have one on hand just for little finish areas that aren't so textured, that are a little bit more flat, just to give it a quick finish. But we want to kind of grind down some of those peaks that we have on our wall, so we're going to need something that has a bit more grit. Now this is going to be entirely up to your taste and what you want. You can leave this super rough and get that kind of Tuscan villa look, or as I showed you at the beginning of this video, the final product, we want it pretty minimal. We don't want super high peaks. We don't really want deep troughs. We just want to blend it in a little bit more. So I'm gonna give you an example. Again, I have the medium grit sponge, sanding sponge. You can buy these at Home Depot. And drywall mud sands down incredibly easily. You can see what a difference that is just from a few passes. And we're gonna scrutinize and go around and knock that down to a level that we're happy with. We're also going to try and even out what apparently is a joint there. Smooth that out without revealing the fiberglass mesh tape underneath. So do as minimal as passes as possible. See, we can already see just a little bit starting to come out. We can put a little bit of mud, scrape that over afterwards if we expose some of that tape. Definitely see another video of mine to learn how to go about that properly. But we're just gonna go around and even all this rough stuff out until we like what we see.